Hello, Star Wars fans! Hey, you know there's just 150 days until Christmas 2022, and welcome to the very first, the premiere episode of Guardians of the Whills, as some people have also named it Guardians of the Shills. Santa's reputation precedes me, and Nikki, I love this. You have me laughing as the intro was playing. Get Santa to get those actual tattoos. That's not going to happen, my friend. But we've got it there on this stream. So the way this is going to work, this is a new format. It's a new show that we're going to be premiering today, but going forward on Thursdays. And the plan here is kind of lay it out the same format, at least as John Campia runs his. So there's some predetermined topics, Star Wars topics we'll go through. We'll have a panel here to talk about it. And then we will open it up at the end for live stream questions. So if you have questions you'd like for us to answer, your topics for us to discuss, that kind of thing. If you're one of our Patreon members, there's a way to do that in Patreon without having to do a super chat. Or if you do a super chat here, we'll take a look at them as well. But that's one way to do it. And our friend Astromech Jeremy gets to give us the very first topic that we're going to cover right after we do our right after we do our fan film of the week. So that carries over from what we've been doing with my friend Imagic Maker. So we'll talk about a fan film, and we're going to change the format of that a little bit as well. So before I start that part, let me just bring on a Magic Maker here, and then I need to play around a little bit with there we go. So we've got a Magic Maker here. We also have Levi Bond from hello.
I'm here.
From All New Nerds, and your friend Johnny. Johnny's here as well.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, my friend.
All new. The Shills, yeah, the Guardians of the Shills is a good name because I am a shill both for Santa, not just because I pay him every month, and a shill for Star Wars too. So
That's
we're all new shills. We're all. New
I do
shills.
Pay him money every month. So am I shill? Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. So very good. We're going to, we've got a fan film here. A Magic Maker sent this to me a couple days ago, and we've got, Meg's already giving you a hard time. Pfft, fake fan.
Thank you, Meg. It's a high honor. That's a compliment coming from you. I appreciate it.
It is. Meg's beautiful. She's wonderful. But we have a short fan film, and here's the thing: as we go through these topics, we want to keep them to about 10 minutes in discussion. And so we'll open with a Magic Maker and the fan film. And Levi, Johnny, if you have anything to add to the discussion as we do that, then we invite you to do that as well. So first of all, let me just show you all the fan film. If you've not seen it yet, this is Clash of Blades. It's a Star Wars fan animation. And a Magic Maker and I have a new kind of grading scale. We named it the Force, the Force feedback. Right, so we have a 5-point scale, and we're not going to go through all the details. We'll do that on a Magic Maker's channel, Reimagining Star Wars. If you haven't subscribed to that, you should. So Reimagining Star Wars, we'll go into the full analytics of it. But here we'll just kind of give our brief summary. So I'll kick it off here. Let me mute this. This is an animated film. It's very short. It's only 45 seconds long, 46 seconds long. And I gave this an overall 1 green saber. We have 5-point scale. I gave 3 green, 2 red. I thought this is very rewatchable. It's absolutely beautiful. And I thought they did a fantastic job of telling a story within just a minute. And it looks great. So a Magic Maker, your quick take on it.
Yep. So I gave it 3 green sabers. The only thing that I hit it on, as you know, was originality, and that's because it looks a lot like Visions. I like that aspect of it, but it still takes away the originality of it. I loved it.
Characters, right? They appear to be like a brother and sister, and they're gonna duel here on this this battle. A cruiser here, right? So
yep. I do love it though.
It looks great. And again, it's only 45 seconds long. It's really short, but I think it looks wonderful. So what do you guys think?
Yep.
Are we able to give like a half saber, like an Ahsoka Shoto saber? Does
Yeah,
that?
Nope,
sure.
it's just
Do
it's
we
either.
do that?
I was gonna ask that as well.
You know, that counts as a saber. You know,
Yeah.
is that okay? Well,
Yeah, I
are
wanted
those
a
allowed?
neutral, but we kind of do it like Siskel and Ebert. You probably don't know those guys, but it was either thumbs up or thumbs
I know
down.
Roger Ebert. Yeah, I got. I'd give it. I'd think I'd stick with you then. I'd follow the pattern and say 3. I'd give it the thumbs up if we're going by that metric. It reminds me a lot of the Dark Empire fan animation going on right now in terms of the visual style, but also very evocative of Visions and a little bit of the TIE Fighter short film, which is my favorite Star Wars short film. Yeah, just 2 thumbs up. Very, very entertaining. It's a little short, obviously, so that's I think takes it down for me. And it's as Imagic Maker said, not exactly fully original.
Right.
Yeah.
Still
So
beautiful.
just to let you know, this is basically a trailer for the work that they're doing.
Oh,
Got it. I was not
So
aware.
they're actually doing full work, and so go on there and check them out. They have more stuff that's not Star Wars, but they have about 5,500 subscribers, so they're a good channel to check out.
Yeah, it says it was animated in Photoshop for 2D and Blender for 3D and completed in After Effects. So
Awesome.
no, they did a great job. Johnny, you have any thoughts?
yeah, no, I think I'd give it a 3 as well. But I mean, you just changed my whole world now. This is like going to be a longer fan film, which I think is really, really cool. So that's very exciting because the style is great, and I've worked a little bit in animation, so like how they did it was really cool through like Photoshop. That's very, very impressive. And yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah, it looks reminiscent of Visions, but I certainly don't think that's a bad thing. But I love the. I mean, we're seeing is this an orange lightsaber or is it a pink lightsaber?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's
It's pretty cool.
It's pretty badass. So
Yeah, it's really excellent. I love it. So you guys, please go check out the channel. I put a link in the description to Psychosin and the Clash of Blades, Star Wars fan animation. I thought they did a wonderful job. So we like to support channels here. It's only got 600 likes, so we can raise that up and 5,000.
I'll go give it a like right now.
Yeah.
And about 3 weeks, we'll start doing this on my channel. We'll do it more detailed, and then we'll go over it just like this, kind of have a chit chat. But then we'll do a more detailed deep dive on all the sabers and what they mean and how you can support this kind of material over on my channel. In about 3 weeks.
Perfect.
All right, with that, Santa, I gotta dip out. So.
All right. Thank you so much, my friend. And
may the force be with you.
all right, be sure you check out Reimagining Star Wars, a Magic Maker's YouTube channel. We've now got Quentin to join us. And just as we get ready to start our second topic of the day. Now, this is, as I mentioned, if you are one of our Patreon supporters, you can support us by subscribing there, supporting the channel. But you also get opportunity to present show topics and questions. So the very first one this week comes to us from our friend Astromech Jeremy, and let me share his question up here because I think it's a fun question, and we'll get what you think. Hold on one second here. There we go. Here we go. So here's his question. He says, Alec Guinness, Obi-Wan Force Ghost. I want to show a movie that takes place during the Mandalorian timeline, but gives us Alec Guinness, Obi-Wan Force Ghost, helping Leia, like he did Luke, with her visions of Ben Solo and decision to give her up her lightsaber and her training. So, what do you think about getting a version of Alec Guinness's Force Ghost in a Disney Plus show featuring Leia?
I don't like it.
Yeah. Are we allowed to be how? Yeah.
Yeah.
What is the range? I don't want to be.
I would firstly say it probably has to be animated.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
Most likely.
most likely.
The reason I don't
There's
like
that.
it is because we don't really get an explanation as to why certain Force Ghosts have disappeared so far. Right.
I mean,
This could be the show to do it. No.
right? So like he just pops up and he's talking to Leia, and Yoda's gone.
I mean, it's getting even not more confusing, but as convoluted as Force Ghosts do. In the most recent one of the most recent novels, Shadow of the Sith, Anakin is actively like switching between the Sebastian Shaw look and his Hayden Christensen look, and like fading in and out. It's very interesting. So Force Ghosts are very nebulous in general, but
Right.
as far as the idea goes, though, I'm not like entirely against Leia getting some more Force development. I don't know if coming in the way of Alec Guinness's Force Ghost is necessarily the way I would imagine that story, because I don't think like she has a really strong connection to Obi-Wan, but I do like the idea of her dealing with Ben Solo. This
You
vision
don't
of
think Leia has a strong connection?
well, now I guess after the Obi-Wan Kenobi show,
Yeah.
I'm thinking in the context of just the original trilogy. I'm reading Heir to the Empire right now, and I'm really in a mindset of what is like happening after I just saw those first 3 movies. I'm in 1991, and this is the next thing coming, and you're getting like development with Leia there. Sorry, yeah, obviously the Obi-Wan show changes that for canon, but I
I
don't
would
know.
say so, yeah.
It changes a lot.
A little bit.
A little bit. A little here and there.
Well, I'd say there was some discussion during the Kenobi show, even that toward the end, would we get some sort of blending of Obi-Wan, Ian McGregor's voice, and perhaps get into a little bit of Alec Guinness's voice in there, or even a time jump forward to put Alec Guinness talking to Obi-Wan before A New Hope. So I know that's been a point of discussion. Some folks have kind of, they'd like to see the how he gets from where we see him, of course, in the original trilogy, and where we see him here. And I don't know. Seeing him connect with Leia, we have seen that established in Kenobi, and then to see him as a Force Ghost as she's raising Ben, and she's struggling with what should I do. He's turning more and more dark. He's lashing out, these kind of things, and she of course turns to Luke to help train him. Could she have some interaction with Obi-Wan, especially as she's training with herself, trains with Luke to connect to the Force and do all that training?
Well,
so
does Luke still see him? Can we
Well,
know if Luke is still seeing him?
we don't.
I guess we don't know.
I'm
right?
trying to think of the farthest point in canon that
Yeah, I'm saying in canon.
he communicated. Yeah, once again, I'm in a weird like I'm going through a lot of legends right now, so I'm trying to have 2 separate timelines. That's why I said the thing about Obi-Wan not having connection with Leia.
I would say it'd be a really cool scene to see Leia talk with a ghost of Obi-Wan. I don't know if I could run a whole show, but I think absolutely
for canon now. Actually, I think it'd be a pretty thematically
very impactful.
resonant. Her finally seeing that kind of power, and it would have to come like I think right at the end of almost right when you see that flashback in Rise of Skywalker of after their duel, and like she has the she senses she has the vision, right around there maybe, but. In terms of your question, when they last talk, I mean, in the comics, I don't know, but then Empire happens, and I think it might be Return of the Jedi, to my knowledge.
Yeah, well,
last time Luke
Loras
talks, yeah.
Teca would play that position more than Obi-Wan would, right? Because like he's that dude who's kind of like trying to keep the Jedi traditions alive, right? So in that time period, he was around Luke, right? And he was probably around Leia a lot as well. So I don't know. I kind of feel like he would sort of be her counsel, maybe.
Yeah,
because he looked like he was in Force Awakens, right? Like he knew a lot about what happened with Ben. I mean, either that or Ben stole a sandwich from him once, and he's just mad.
I think that's another a good question. And now that we've had Kenobi show, we know there's a strong connection between Obi-Wan and Leia. That the Force Ghost Obi-Wan could definitely connect to Leia. He certainly has as good or better relationship to Leia as he did with Luke. And so when Leia starts training, that's why her kind of keyed off. Like she starts training with Luke and she connects to the Force and she starts meditating. She starts, increasing her knowledge and abilities. It makes sense to me that a scene with an Alec Guinness Kenobi would be brilliant. It'd be great. Whether that's in animation or live action, I'm not sure. So good question though. Really good.
I wonder if
I
we're
think
dealing with different timelines and if they'll ever come out and say we are or not. Because that would explain a lot of the differences now. I mean,
I think the most likely thing for this reality would definitely be a novel.
yeah.
It'd probably come out. There'll probably be a Leia novel, another one at some point where we explore more her training, and I bet it'd be in there.
Maybe
Well,
a
I would
Leia
love to
animated
see-
show.
Well, yeah. And look,
Maybe?
I would love to see an animated series following
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi.
Even that
with
time
the-
period. Even that time period. I
Yeah,
think is
yeah.
really cool. So yeah.
And I know Levi, you just mentioned you're rereading the Aftermath novels, and you're also doing the Thrawn trilogy, Heir to the Empire. But there's a lot of content in there that could be done in an animated series. But look, I'm fully on board for seeing more Vivian playing young Leia. I thought she did such a great job in Kenobi. So I'm sign me up for all of it. I'm fine.
I think it was kind of hinted that he's going to have a stronger connection going forward now with Luke, though, with, Uncle Ben allowing him to, Uncle Owen allowing him to bring him like the actual toy that he was bringing him instead of throwing it away, right? At the end.
Right.
So I don't know.
Apparently there might be a season 2, so I don't know what's gonna
Right,
happen
and
there,
I don't
but-
know how much Luke Luke will interact with Ben because we know in A New Hope he says maybe old Ben knows something.
I think they'll keep it limited.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be too much. Yeah.
I think so too. I think any future series of Kenobi would involve more of Ben and of Qui-Gon. Yeah, and then perhaps even go back to the old story where you had the Tuscans coming in and causing problems, and they need to do that. And then you could bring in a Tuscan Jedi.
Asherad Het, Meg.
Perhaps. I'm just saying
Perhaps.
maybe. I'm just saying maybe. So it's time to change topics. We have another topic to bring up here. And this one has to do with collectibles. There were a number of collectibles released last week during the San Diego Comic-Con.
A ton.
Some of these look great, and then some of them aren't for me. In fact, I know my good friend Martin Keeler, Zuvium, who has been a Black Series collector. It's got an insane Black Series collection. He's checked out. He's like, nope, I canceled all my pre-orders.
He's not collecting
I'm out.
them anymore?
The plastic free.
He's well, that's part
Is
of
that-
it, but
Wow.
some of it is this as well. So if we just
goodness.
go through this first with this Force Effects Vader saber, I love it. I love it. I've got the Legacy saber here, right? I've got this, which is very similar, right? Very similar, but in this case, the difference with this saber, of course, is that it's the new Force Effects Elite, and it's got a kyber crystal. You can see the kyber crystal right there,
Pretty dope.
so you can display it with that. So I thought that's fantastic. It's something that if folks don't have this one, or even if you do have this one, you might want that one as well. If you're a saber collector, there are some differences in it for sure. So
Hey,
it
Sam,
would be worth having. Yeah.
how much would it cost to see you and Jason in a parking lot dueling it out with some lightsabers? I think Nikki wants to know.
Oh my goodness! I will. There's another Patreon question that addresses the same thing. I'll address that at the end.
Okay.
So
I think
Answers.
I think
coming.
Rob is sooner to fight you than I think Jason would.
yeah,
Who's the real Santa?
exactly.
Oh, Santa.
Well, actually, Rob would sneak out from behind an alley and be like, "I'm the hidden master. I'm coming."
Yeah.
So we get a vintage collection Cal Kestis, which the vintage collection have been very, very
Love it.
competitive with Black Series as far as detailing.
As you maybe can tell by my background.
Yes, posability, everything. This is great. The one difference here is that he has this blaster, which appears to be from the upcoming game, right? Survivor.
Okay.
This is our first like full look at Cal, I think, as well. In the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a
Well,
little older
so-
here, right?
Yeah, he's a little
Absolutely,
bit
yeah.
older.
Yep.
He's got
5 years.
a blaster.
Love the
so
card
that-
as well.
I do too. I love it. I think
I
this
don't
is
know
great.
where it is. Yeah.
The
Christmas.
and then you get a couple more Black Series. Here you get
The classic reuse.
Exactly, another repaint. They love that.
Love that.
And not only do you get a
This one I will
repaint
say
of-
looks cool though, but
of that dude, but you get another repaint of a B1 battle droid. I thought this looks good too.
Yeah. these seem to be like enemies, obviously,
That was
within the
a
game, which is
question.
cool.
Like, could you do that yourself if you had a previous model of this?
Could you paint
you-
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're skilled enough.
Yes, you're skilled.
Not me. I couldn't do it.
I couldn't either. So
A little masking tape, my man. Whew. That was a long-
right.
That's all I'm saying.
And then,
We'll save you money. That's for sure.
they've got
$30 a figure now.
Grogu, Black Series Grogu and Priam. There's already a Black Series Grogu,
Yeah.
right?
I love it,
Ram-
but
Ram
it's gonna be a pass for me because I basically have all this already. So
The
Yeah.
pram is different, and technically
the Ram is different, but I like the.
I was just about to point that out.
I'm sorry, I left that comment. That's me.
The Knights
Yeah,
of Melvin
that's
made
Levi.
it. Good to,
That's
good
Levi,
to
by
see
the
you
way,
here.
guys.
You guys know
I
that's my
knew
alt
that.
account.
I knew the chances were high when you get this many shills in a
Inside
room
jokes.
together.
How could you call me a shill? I just literally.
No, I know. Well, that's the problem. That's why we had a magic maker on here before. Definitely not a shill, and of course Quentin not either. But
God.
I'm a shill right here.
You
Yeah,
got Levi and
I think you're
myself.
talking. All on Earth might be the two shills here. I think,
By the
unfortunately.
way,
here.
nothing wrong with you guys being a shill. You enjoy what you enjoy. You know that. Live your
Johnny,
Oh,
Johnny,
yeah.
Johnny, I'm
Thank
gonna
you
revoke
for
your
that,
show
Quentin.
card. You're not. You don't count.
How am I not?
We got a whole. Never mind.
I do want to bring up. So we got Miggs Mayfield.
Love this.
Popular character, and this is a great figure. And but then we get into some weird stuff, and which always happens. Let me get. Well, wait. First, can't skip over this. Mandalorian Luke Skywalker. Look,
Love it.
this is wonderful. This is absolutely wonderful.
Must buy.
You get the hallway scene, Luke Skywalker from Mando season 2. Absolutely brilliant scene. Some of the best Star Wars we've gotten since the original trilogy. I love it, and to be able to get this figure is something I think many fans and collectors are going to want. That to me is the biggest.
I have a
win
feeling
of
he'll be
the-
hard to find.
An
of the
absolutely
wave.
inaccurate figure, though. If you want to scroll up, you can see even on the
There is
Yeah.
an
the print.
inaccuracy.
So see how the cape, the cow clasps across in the render
Right,
there,
right.
even on the
Right.
side art. But the
Yeah.
actual figure itself is definitely just the reuse
Yeah.
of the one they were developing for the Rancor,
Right.
which is just
Yeah,
a Return of the Jedi Luke, and it's not actually it's not actually
Yeah.
it doesn't clasp across. So
Although you
Right,
could
right.
probably like glue it together or something like that. I
Well,
don't
yeah,
know.
you can fix that
you
yourself.
could fix it. You know,
it's a
if
great
you
looking
wanted to.
figure.
It is a great looking figure, though.
It is.
Excited for that one.
And
Can I
people
just say
will want-
about something about the MIGs? It's so funny how I get it as a simpler figure to make, but we have the season 2 MIGs before we had the season 1 MIGs, which I thought was just kind of
Well,
mind-boggling.
that's been a series in the vintage collection as well.
Yeah.
Season 2
Yeah.
stuff before 1.
Yeah.
We're
Yes.
limited on time, so want to be able to get through. Look, another Boba Fett starship, the Slave One. They just re-released this recently, and it's a fantastic ship. I don't get the re-release of it. That's kind of crazy.
Is it hard to find still?
No,
No, I don't know.
no. This
Something
just
like-
changes the packaging, and you get a different figure with it. So, I mean, fine. I
Boba Fett
suppose if you
starship.
don't have it.
Boba Fett.
And the
Like a
last
replica
time it
of-
was released, the box said plainly on it, Slave One.
Full size
This
of that.
was I mean, I just got that a year ago. This one will say Boba Fett Starship. So just
An official change.
Well,
Yeah.
as long as it's still called Slave One in the data bank, then it's still called that.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh wait, is that the ship they're talking about? They're talking about
and
Slave
then we do have some holiday painted figures. I'm fine with holiday painted figures. This is something that happens across different kind of collections, different toy sets. I had kids when they were growing up collected
Yeah,
Briar horses. And Briar Horses have a very famous holiday line that is highly collectible. I'm absolutely fine with it. My problem is on the release date. Spring of 2023 makes no sense to me because it's all Halloween focused. And it's like, okay, it's not my thing, not something I want, nothing I need. Hasbro could make money by repainting them. Good for you. But I just don't get the spring release. For me, that's a miss.
Talking about this last, and like that merchandise is where they're making their money at. You know, people were saying that Disney Plus is not making money, and I agree. But like, it's pushing people to this. Like, those little kids love that stuff, man. My daughter walks into the store, she sees anything that looks a particular way, she's like, "Give it to me, let me have it." You know,
I don't know. I will say, I don't know how the sales do on like these holiday figures, though.
Really well.
I don't know how
really
high.
well. Everyone, we all complain about them, and then all of the last series of, if I can jump
The
in for a
Christmas
second,
ones.
all the last Christmas ones,
There he
all
is.
hard to find. Then there was such. Get this. This is a little known Black Series fact. There was actually a second wave of Christmas figures made. There were photos of them out there for last Christmas, and the shipping was so messed up. They just pushed them to next Christmas, even though they were on shelves in some places. It's so messed up. They made a whole line of figures, and everyone just forgot that they came out because of how far back they got pushed. So
okay. I see. Somebody pointed out to me, Matt, thank you for that. Halloween or fall? The date is afterwards. So fall 2022. That's perfect then. Perfect. I have no problem with this wave. They're not for me. They're not for me.
They're not. No,
I've got my Santa Claus one. I'll get some
Christmas
ones.
I will say I was more upset about the original Christmas wave because at the time, like Hasbro was just, I just felt like they're doing like really crappy. The waves weren't that good, but now that I think the waves have been consistently good lately, so I'm okay with them having these. But anyways,
and then these are the ones that I absolutely despise. These
time for me to check out. Yeah, bye.
Oh, you don't like these? No, I'm kidding.
I hate them.
No, I
hate them. The credit collection, it just repaints to repaint. There's no purpose in them. Like the holiday, okay, fine, do that. There are people.
The Tusken Raider actually still looks okay.
Yeah,
all the enough.
Come on,
that still looks okay.
Don't defend it. Don't defend it. Don't. No.
Hot Wheels section of Star Wars. That's all.
They're just look. If you want to paint your din jar in a different color, go ahead. Why?
These are the peg warmers at Target. These are your peg warmers. So.
They're terrible.
This will be the peg warmers of the year.
This absolutely makes me nuts. Do the holiday ones. People can buy them or not buy them.
The Ahsoka one's not bad.
Oh, and are blue lightsabers? That's not right.
Well, it's messed up.
From the concept already.
No, I know.
The whole thing's messed up. I'm just not a fan of the credit collection at all.
To this day, you can still find Moff Gideon.
Moff Gideon's still there.
Moff Gideon's still there in your local Best Buy.
Absolutely.
Sitting on that shelf.
And then we get Axe Wolves, which is fine.
Looks great.
Very good. It's all good. And look, this guy here, another.
Is that the dude from Final Conflict Earth?
Platoonian. Is it Platoonian?
This is a repack from the ATST that they released, but on a card this time.
I'm looking forward to getting this at some point, right? But that's the original, like back in the day, figigures. So I'm looking forward to getting these.
Yeah.
This one follows
the first set
original.
was awesome.
Yeah, where you got Luke and Han.
Luke,
and all
Leia,
that.
Han, Chewie, Obi-Wan. Oh no, Obi-Wan's right there. I think Vader. I don't remember.
Yeah. So this is nice. And then of course there's been another thing that has got some attention, and it's worth bringing up briefly. We're kind of gone long on the segments, but I do want to bring up this other figure because some people have gotten a lot of mileage on this, and I'm not sure that it deserves it. Right? We've got this animatronic Grogu. It's up to $100,000.
Whoa!
So
I didn't know that it was that much.
It starts around $80,000.
Okay.
And then you can customize it. You can add more servos to it and all of this, right? So begins at like $85,000. It can go up to $100,000. So you can they're built custom to order. It's defined by how realistic you want them to be, so on and so forth. Look, if folks want to get it, that's fine. I have no problem with that. Hold on, let me mute that. I have no problem. This is not Hasbro doing it. This is not Lucasfilm doing it. This is not Disney doing it. This is somebody paid for the license, and they want to
They
make
acquired
these
the
things
license.
for people that want to
This
buy
is like
them.
high
Fine.
end collecting here.
Who cares?
Hey, if
Who
you want
cares?
to spend the money, then go ahead. If you
Yeah,
want to spend like $100,000 and all that.
I just couldn't care less. Like, if you've got $100,000 and you want to customize one and have it in your study, go for
Does
it.
it come with the pram as well?
It should
Yeah,
better.
yeah. That's
It
part
better.
of it.
Right.
You're paying that
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Look, it's well done. It's not for me.
Convince
but
someone
I-
who would buy that to instead invest that money, and then 20 years from now, have someone build them like an army of these.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah.
An army of
Yeah.
animatronic Grogu's.
There are people who
Terrifying
have
sight.
different economic realities than I do, right? And if in your economic reality, an $85,000 to $100,000 Grogu is part of your pocket money that you want to spend, go for it. I don't care.
Pocket money.
It's out. Like I said,
Yeah.
their reality is outside of mine, right? My reality is nowhere close to that.
You said it right, because the only kind of people I can imagine having that kind of money are people who probably carry that as pocket money. Because it's like,
Well, yeah, like millionaires and billionaires. Yeah.
Right, and if they want to, then go right ahead. And it doesn't burn me up at all that they made it.
maybe not even a lot of those people would do that. Because I mean, like certain individuals of a certain value, you give them $100,000, they're going to take that and buy probably 5 different rental properties and turn that into a lot more money very quickly.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Sure.
I don't
Sure.
know.
So
Is it
look,
like? I wonder if it has the same tech like that they use for Grogu, like now at like Lucasfilm. Like I don't know how advanced it is.
it's got like a whole mess of servos in it.
It can blink.
So,
You
yeah.
can blink. Okay, there you go.
Guys at Lucasfilm need to actually direct it a certain way. Right?
Yeah, they have a controller and all that stuff.
Yeah, this seems
Yeah.
more pre-programmed, less of a somebody else can get behind the wheels kind of thing.
Right,
Maybe.
right.
Exactly.
Perhaps, yeah.
Look, licensing helps Lucasfilm. Lucasfilm sold the licensing for that, and they're making him. They'll get some cut of the fees involved there. And Quentin, as you were saying, like last night, I think was it last night that you guys were having the discussion, or the night before? I was watching your video. Where you were talking with Felicity and
Oh yeah, that was last night. Yeah.
yeah. Look, they're making money. I mean, whether Disney Plus is a money maker for Disney or not, Lucasfilm is been hitting
Them hitting the numbers.
all the numbers that they wanted and exceeding them on the platform.
Yeah.
So, look, it's all good. It's all good.
You're going to Vince
okay.
McMahon route. That's why I mentioned that. It's like he doesn't care. Before he stepped down, he got to a point with his product that he didn't really care what the storylines looked like. As long as some kid out there bought a toy or a T-shirt, they made what they needed to make to like make everyone happy. So that's where we are with this kind of situation. You know?
Well, now I'll throw in my obligatory blurg comment. That look, the more they make on licensing things, the more money they have to retool and make other things, right?
You're right.
So
True.
there is a demand for blurgs. My friend X-Wing has ordered me a custom, and people are having customs made. Our other friend Baymax, who did the thumbnail for today, he ordered a custom blurg as well. Eventually, Hasbro might get around to making them. The blurgs have shown up in every era. You can find them all the way back in the old Ewok movies. That's where they first came up. And then they've been in all the animated series. And so, at some point, but maybe not Bad Batch, but they were in
No, they were in Bad Batch.
I thought they were in Bad Batch. Yeah.
Ryloth
They were
Sure,
in Clone Wars and Rebels
And Clone Wars
as
and
well.
Rebels,
So I know that. Look, they're the horse of Star Wars, except for
Sure.
Rise of Skywalker. But
What do you have
other
to-
than that, they show up
Curious.
everywhere, and with popularity of Mandalorian and Quill, and of course, then writing them in season 1. Look, I need it.
Yeah.
So
How are you getting it customized? What does that mean?
Yeah. Where are you?
So there are folks. The one that X-wing ordered, he got from Spain. The one that that Baymax got, he's getting from Turkey. There are people who have 3D printers,
Okay.
and they have models for them. They print them off. They sand them, paint them, customize them.
Gotcha.
These are
and
Black
do all
Series, Black Series scale.
Yeah, I think you can get
scale.
with either scale.
Okay.
And I do know too that the folks over at Hot Toys have a blurg.
Do you have a blurg?
Yeah.
May
Yeah,
have someone make me a baklava in the shape of a blurg, and then
That's probably cheaper.
Yeah.
True.
So
True.
look, hopefully they will soon. There's a big Hasbro Con coming up in September, 1st of October, and eventually we'll get some more pipeline reveals, and we'll see.
If we could save the bubble for vintage collection packaging, which I know is a big victory. Tim from Boss Bounty, all those people I follow, like that was a huge thing, and I know they all want blurgs too, and I know that Hasbro watches at least those channels. I think we'll get a blurg. I think at some point.
I do think we will get one day. I question Black Series though. I mean, maybe they could, because they haven't done like a vehicle in a long time for Black Series, so maybe they go.
Well,
back
they
to it.
try. Well, the failed Rancor that goes in. That same,
but they used to do like Luke's land speeder,
Yep.
and they even did the Hoth speeder. So
Yep.
maybe stuff like that is what I'm more talking about. But yeah,
exactly.
That Rancor is tragic.
my Rancor is tragic, but I think that's all Hasbro's fault. I don't think that's anybody
know.
else.
I agree. Look, without going too
Bad
deep
marketing.
into that, we're going along again. But the idea there on the last two HasLab projects, just terribly
Oh,
executed.
yeah, and Reva's lightsaber failed.
Yeah.
Reva's
Terrible-
lightsaber, it's not even a
terribly
Black
executed.
Series. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Well,
it's
it
under
was
the Black Series
no,
brand.
I know exactly.
Yeah.
I'm saying those lightsabers are force effects. Like, just make it different.
Right,
like,
right,
no one,
right.
when people think Black
Cosplay.
Series, they don't think the helmets and the lightsabers. They think the figures.
Figures. Yeah.
Look,
if you ever did make a lightsaber, would you need like a license to carry one?
Yeah.
Well, there is the site. Well, I shared after X-Wing and I talked about the lady up in Canada that was wearing a stormtrooper outfit, holding a blaster, and she got taken down and arrested. In the
Oh, I've
parking
seen
lot
that video. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, Quentin and I were kind of chatting about it yesterday during the rewatch of the Bad Batch, and how long until they do a Fennec Shand helmet?
Ooh,
It's got to be coming.
great
Black
point.
Series.
Mhm.
Like they've done several pilot helmets, Vader's helmet, of course.
Yeah.
The only
how
problem
long-
with Fennec's helmet is that it's more dynamic with like the moving aspect of it, and Hasbro doesn't like to do work. So I would say at least.
I
all
would
the helmets
I would
now
agree
are
with
like-
that, but there's functionality to some of them. Like Vader's helmet, you can split into 3. Like
Yeah,
I don't
guess.
know. I get what you're saying
I'm-
though. I get what you're saying.
It's
No,
like
that was a good burn, Levi.
Yeah, that was a good burn.
that was
like
good.
there's more
That
going
was-
on with Fennec's helmet than it's just.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on
it's
the
gotta-
Rex helmet as well. I don't know if they'll ever do clone helmets just because of how they're designed. You have to like
after
open
Book
the
of Boba,
back
after
and
Book
then-
of Boba and Obi-Wan though, we have
True, we do have
Lucasfilm
practical
has
helmets now.
practical helmets finally. So
Yeah.
I think there's precedent.
Yeah, there's warrant there. All right,
I mean,
well, there we go.
I watched a dude on YouTube make a real life Iron Man replica helmet, and he measured it to size. It opens and everything. He 3D printed
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
it's in
yeah.
metal.
There's a bunch of those out there.
Yeah, there's a Spider-Man one too. I just saw
Yep.
yesterday.
So
So,
probably do it before them and make more money.
what cracks me
Hey, if
about
they make clone
Levi's
helmets,
comment,
I'll buy them all day, and
regarding-
they're the easy to repaint. They're the easiest to repaint.
regarding Fennec's helmet, it doesn't even
Mm.
have like a shield. That covers the
No.
eye section. It's literally
No.
just sort of like a
It's a
pivot.
hinge. Yeah.
Right? It's
Thing-
one
thing
hinge.
that comes over here, and yeah.
Yeah, that's way too much work. No.
It is.
All right.
We'll see.
Next
We'll
topic.
see.
Next topic. This is the one we're going to get my shield badge back because here we go. Publishing July releases. Before we talk about Padawan, which is the topic of the thumbnail and of the show today, there were also 3 High Republic reprints that went out this week. Into the Dark, Out of the Shadows, and Midnight Horizon. Now, say what you will about the High Republic. You like it, you don't like it, you love it, you hate it. Reprints of books means that they don't have enough lying around on shelves for people who want to buy them. Flat out. Look, who bought them, what they did with them, and where they sit today, I'm not going to talk about. But the High Republic novels going into reprint means something. And Quentin, I think you hit me up right before we came on live.
Yeah. Yeah. Prime will let you read those 3 books for free right now. If you have Amazon Prime, you can read them for free with your Kindle. And I thought it was kind of weird because I didn't subscribe to anything extra. They're making some new play now where they're, certain books they'll let you have for free. And I think maybe it's a group thing with Disney. So maybe they're making money in other ways.
Well, Kindle Unlimited has always been a thing, right? I mean,
no, I'm not talking about Kindle Unlimited though.
Yeah,
This
he's
is your
not a
generic
Kindle-
Prime account?
Yeah, this is my
Wow.
generic Prime account. I don't.
Isn't
have
it all
Yeah.
wrapped into one though now? Because I've had this problem.
No,
'Cause
no.
Amazon with Comixology they're integrating all of their things into one service, and it's awful. I hate
well,
it.
It's
Yeah,
very frustrating.
No, I understand what you're saying, Levi, but they did this with Queen's Peril several months ago, and every so often,
It's like a
just
sale,
your
huh?
standard Amazon subscriber, like you just have an Amazon account,
Prime.
you can get a book for free. And before it was Queen's Peril, now apparently these 3. I have the Kindle Unlimited, so yeah, I get a whole bunch of titles that are no extra cost. They're free to download. That's not the case here. This is just these 3 books on this reprint. Amazon is
Just straight
saying
up free.
if you want to read it, you can do it for free.
Actually, that's not done. I mean, there's a bunch of Star Wars books that are free right now too. Even the Ahsoka book is free right now. If you have a Kindle, well, you don't even have to have a Kindle, right? If you have a regular Amazon Prime account, right?
Yeah, you should just be able to access it.
Yeah, you can read it with their cloud
Or on your
reader as
phone.
well. On your phone or
Yeah.
the cloud reader. So
I do not like.
it's,
I do not like Amazon's services, but that's
do
a
not
different
like-
story.
dude. Like I have a weird story. Like they closed all the bookstores down, right?
I know. I had one right by my house. I hated it.
Yeah, but here's the funny thing, right? Years later, in the middle of New York City, they opened up a bookstore, like an Amazon bookstore.
Oh, and they
Mhm.
closed those. I
Yeah.
thought that's what you're talking about. Yeah.
No, they opened up Amazon bookstores like 3 years ago in the middle of Manhattan. And this is after Barnes and Noble and all these places are shuttered and everything. I'm like, why would you open a bookstore? After
I have a good amount of Barnes and Nobles by me. I have like
All right.
It depends on where you're at. Yeah.
Let's get to the thing that everybody wants to fight about.
Santa
Yeah,
put the
it's okay.
kibosh.
Yeah,
Santa put the
kibosh on that
kibosh on that on the book.
Well,
the book
it's just we need to
No, you're
kind
right,
of keep
you're
the
right.
topics moving.
Oh, okay,
Padawan.
cool.
Padawan was released this week, and I was really excited about it. I mentioned this before. My very favorite Star Wars novel is Master and Apprentice. I love that novel. There's a lot of others that I love as well, but if I had to pick, right, Master and Apprentice bubbles its way to the top. It's a brilliant book. Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, as the Master and Apprentice, the training together, their relationship, all of that book is brilliant. I love it. Now we get this book, Padawan. Padawan's released this week, and just the synopsis of it reads very similarly, except Obi-Wan's much younger. He's 16, right? And so I thought, I wonder how well Kirsten White will pick up on that vibe, right? Kirsten White is the author. I went and looked at some of the other books that she has out. They're very interesting, very like dark, spooky kind of books. I thought, what are we going to get here in this Padawan book? And is it going to flow well into Master and Apprentice? So very excited for this book. Been looking forward for a long time. I will say a couple things about it just off the top before we get to chapter 16, which is the one that's got everybody up in a twist. I thought Kirsten did a great job of getting into the psyche of a 16-year-old boy. I sent out a request to do an interview with her. Hopefully Disney will grant it. I don't know. But I sent out a request because I would love to find out how she got into the psyche of a 16-year-old boy. like 16-year-old girl, I would understand. But as you're going through the book, Obi-Wan is really struggling because he doesn't feel like he fits in. Right? He doesn't feel like he is meeting the standards. He doesn't feel like he's getting the training that some of his peers are getting. He doesn't feel like he's advancing like his peers are advancing. And he doesn't know if he's on the right path in life as a whole. Is it, am I even cut out to be a Jedi? Which is fine for a 16-year-old boy. I'm fine with somebody young questioning those things. You think about when you were 16, right? We have all guys here and wondering, what am I going to be when I quote unquote grow up, right? Now, with the Jedi, of course, they've been on this path for their memorable lives, right? They from very young, and been going this way, all along. But actually, I feel that way at 31. I hear you, my friend. I hear you. But there's things going on in a 16-year-old boy's mind where you just don't know, and your confidence may not be as high as, or maybe it is, right? It's different. So I go back and I thought, oh, this is interesting as I'm reading through. And then the book has a very much of a Lord of the Flies kind of situation.
Interesting.
Right? He goes to a planet. And if you remember back to the old Star Trek book or show, there's a Star Trek show where there's a bunch of kids. And when they get older, they disappear. Right? And so nobody in that whole place is more than early 20s at best, and all of a sudden Kirk shows up. He's old, and there's a show. It's called Star Trek. Go watch it. But anyway,
You may have heard of it.
Lord of the Flies.
Small indie property.
I only know Star Wars. I only know the wars.
Yeah. Well, Meg will be
I know
giving
what
me
you're
a hard
talking
time
about,
here
Stephen.
real soon on what are we talking about? What I thought this was Star Wars. No, so in Padawan, it's very much Lord of the Flies. You've got a bunch of kids. None of them are very old. What happened to the older people? What happened to their parents? Where do these people go? And they have to come up with their own kind of societal rules, their own kind of societal.
Sounds very Peter Pan.
Somewhat Peter Pan-ish, except in Peter Pan they could stay forever young, right? That's not
true.
the case, right? So they're aging. What happens to them when they get to an age? They die very young, or what happens? Where are they? I don't want to give away too much of the book's content. Reading it through, it's a page turner. Right, it's a good story. I really, really enjoyed it, and she gets a little cheeky a couple times by throwing in some just tropey lines. Hello there, right? You get that. You get. I've got a bad feeling about this. All the things are in it, right? Those things is kind of like okay, yeah, all right, but it's a fun story, and Obi-Wan goes through a progression. His character arc goes through a progression in the story that where he ends is different from where he starts. Again, I don't want to give away spoilers to the whole book, right? So the issue all comes from chapter 16. All right. Chapter 16, there's about 2 pages, page and a half,
In the book. Oh, okay, interesting.
where there's a situation. A situation happens. And a boy makes a pass at Obi-Wan, and there's you got teenage kids. Some are making out, some are not. Some are you've got different kind of development going on. You've got a guy and a girl who are in love, and they're doing their thing. And this guy comes up to Obi-Wan and kind of makes a pass at him. And Obi-Wan is like, "It's not for me. I've got this no commitment thing." And he's going through a question in his mind about, well, maybe I'm not cut out to be a Jedi. Maybe I should stay here with these kids. They're my age. I fit in. They've got powers sort of like I've got powers, and we could live out. If I were to stay here and live here, would I be interested in this guy? Would I be interested in that girl? Would I be interested in anybody who's here or nobody who's here? And that's the dialogue that goes on in his head. Then we move on. That's it. That's on. That,
And the internet lost their mind.
They lost their friggin' minds.
Well, my question is, like, do we
Yeah.
even need to look at that in the story? That's my question. Like,
Well,
not
that's
whether it's a dude or a girl or like some other gender from an alien race, right? And it like in an adolescent story, like my question is, is it really helpful to have me understand where he's at in terms of that's the question for me, because I don't know if I would want to put myself in the position of a parent, which I am, right? Like if my daughter was reading that, or my son, if I have a son one day, was reading that, right? I'm not sure if I would be okay with any type of like, romantic stuff being in the book at all, because when I read that, or if I hear that, like you just described, right, in my mind what I go to is like those cheesy romance novels that people read where there's like just these elaborate sex scenes for no reason, that they just put stuff in there for no, it doesn't really benefit the plot. I don't know. But if it's really benefiting the plot, great. But if it's not, it's kind of like, all right, well, yeah, it's controversial to some people, some people not, and it presents this existential question, I guess, of what should be in a book and what shouldn't be for a kid. That's all.
Yeah, and I think that's a fair question to ask. And I had a DM with Nikki, and look, in my opinion, folks are making a mountain out of a molehill. But the thing is, there's a molehill.
There's a molehill.
Should the molehill even be there? And I think it's not necessary for the story. However, that being said, it is consistent with the story because he's challenging every aspect of his life. And a 16-year-old is full of hormones.
Yeah, this is true.
And these are some of the things that 16-year-olds deal with.
If I can jump in, especially from a canon point of view, one of the things that gets overlooked about Obi-Wan a lot is that in the Phantom Menace, he's a 25-year-old Padawan. That's not always the normal, and that has a psychological impact on him. If you read some of the expanded stuff, like Anakin is a knight when he's 19, Obi-Wan is a Padawan still when he's 25. And exploring Obi-Wan's development has always been an interesting thing in the expanded stuff. And actually, there's a story already in canon, kind of similar with the kids. It's called Yoda's Secret War. It's from the original Jason Aaron run, where Luke has to go to a planet with all these kids, and that's the thing too, a parallel I drew. But in terms of Obi-Wan, like it's just George Lucas made a whole trilogy about how the Jedi and their opinions on feelings like was a problem. Like it's like George Lucas said himself, like the prequels are fundamentally, partially at least, a romance between Anakin and Padme, and the way Anakin's feelings and like all that angsty teen stuff, that's all core to Star Wars. And Obi-Wan having the same trouble, and then when he's 16 saying I gotta still be a Jedi, like I'm pushing it away, and then it honestly, to me, it adds even more to how Satine is able to pull him out of it and almost get like to the point where he says, if you said the word, I would leave the Jedi Order, because that's how much Satine meant to him. And also putting even more into context when Maul stabs Satine and she's dying in his arms, like how good of a Jedi this guy is. And then comparing that next to his Padawan, Anakin, who has to go through all of this teen angst stuff and falls on the other side of it. I don't know. To me, it's like perfect development for Obi-Wan in the canon context.
I don't disagree with that. My point has nothing to do with whether or not it benefits like the reality of prequels or OT or or anything after. My point is just that I don't know if it really benefits to have it in there, in general. For
Right.
If it's aimed at younger people, like adolescents, right? Yeah, teens, like the comment said, teens are going to be teens, but that doesn't mean that I have to help a teen to be.
Well, let me address something you said too, Jeremy, or Quentin. I saw Jeremy's super chat here, and we'll get to this in just a second. Something you said, Quentin, as a father who's raised two girls through their teenage years, there was a time, not when they were 16, but certainly when they were 11, 12, 13, preteens, early teens, where I was very engaged with what they were reading. I would read with them or to them, right? And if they were reading something, I read it because I wanted to be engaged in what they were absorbing, what they were being exposed to, and be able to put some context around it. Because I was concerned for my own reasons, right? I'm a conservative Christian dude. That's what I am. And I've shared that before. I was anxious about my kids being exposed to things that were counter to what my beliefs, our family beliefs are, what our values, family values are.
Yeah.
And I didn't want them to be swayed unduly. And so would a page, let's again be clear, this is a page and a half in a book, part of one chapter where he just asks, am I interested in romance at all? Guy, girl, any kind, any of these people. Are the blue ones over there okay? What about the ones that have fur all over them? Would I be interested in them? None of that, right? He's like, no, none of it's for me. And there are girls flirting with him and guys flirting with him, and it just is it's a page where one guy comes up to him. Would it have been a discussion point I had with my kids? Oh yeah, we would have had a discussion point. And would I have been appreciative that it was in the book? No, not at all. However, at my ripened old age, and my kids being where they are, this is again a molehill out of, and some people are making a huge mountain out of it.
No, I get that. People always make a mountain out of something that could be small.
Yeah, and I'll go back to, but the molehill is there. It's definitely there.
It goes back to what I said. It's like, everybody can enjoy what they enjoy, right? But there's going to be somebody within that group that enjoys something that's going to have worries, like, because of who they are, right? Like Levi is who he is, and it's his age. Johnny's his age, right? You are your age, Santa. Like, I'm my age, right? We're all in different positions in life, and like I'm just starting off as a father and have these concerns fresh and or like renewed from also maybe childhood things, right? Because I grew up Catholic, as you know. I'm no longer Catholic, but I grew up Catholic, so I had that Christian guilt with me as well for a long time in my life. I'm not saying that in a derogatory way, but like, heavy in the thought of morality and stuff like that, right? So certain questions I do have about content in regards to how it would like want my child's focus to be mentally, I guess, at a certain age. That's all. And I didn't read it to the detail that you did, right? So I can't have like a full-on judgment over it. So I can't condemn it.
That's what I was talking with Nikki yesterday. I'm like, I haven't read this whole thing. I don't know if this has ripples that plays out through. I want to address Ashley McJeremy's super chat. Thank you for that, my friend. He says, Anakin, Leia, and even Ahsoka at 19 and younger dealt with romance. And I specifically remember the Ahsoka romance bit in there with the Saw Gerrera storyline. And she has a bit of an attraction to a young man who then his attraction is to a young lady and not her. So I remember the jealousy there that she had. That was there. What's the difference? I don't think there's any difference. At the end of the day, and I don't want to give away too much of the book, and Obi-Wan, again, he's questioning things. He's 16 years old. His mind, his hormones, everything's in a weird place. And he's trying to figure out what's going on in here, right? And as it goes through the book, that solidifies and his direction begins to shape and it firms up. And where it ends, he's committed to continuing the story.
It makes sense. And the way that you frame it, it doesn't, it does take away some of the harm in terms of like initial like hearing of the news, right? But the thing is that not everyone's going to take that moment to have a sec like that like a sort of opinion of it. That's where like the outcry comes from. They're like, they're not all hanging out with all of us in the chat and like,
If I can also ask the question, like for me as a huge Star Wars reader, I don't know how many like actual adolescents are reading, like young adult, like I don't know any kids who are reading these novels.
Somebody
out there, like I don't know if they are, like in terms of the. I feel like there's a lot of us who are reading them are at least.
Well, that's the question, right? If there's a group
like,
of people who are like that upset about it, like somebody out there is doing it. Somebody's reading their kid this stuff, right? That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. Because like somebody's using this as content to read their kid too, probably.
It is a young adult reader, and it is
a young
like,
adult. Yeah, I mean exactly. It's targeted at a young adult audience.
Right.
I get you.
Right. Yeah. I know. I look. I think this is a fair discussion to have, and I appreciate it. And Nikki and I had a very long talk about it yesterday. And I look, I see Salty Texas Ranger. I see you guys, right? And I know that we had Knights of Melvin in here earlier. We had Melvin in here earlier. If he's still
Melvin
listening.
definitely has opinions.
Levi's
Oh, he
all
does.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
he definitely has.
He does. He did a show on it as well. I just wanted to say this is not the Mount Vesuvius. We do not have a national disaster going on. The island is not being destroyed by volcanic ash. None of that's happening, right? There's a thing. It passes, and it's within the this was the molehill is there. It is there, but within the context of the book, it fits. And I think the author did a really good job of getting into the mind, the psyche of a 16-year-old boy, and telling us a very good Star Wars story. I enjoyed it. Overall, I thought it was a great book. Not my favorite, but it's good. Certainly good.
I want to clarify, like what I'm saying has nothing to do with like, cause I'm reading the chat on YouTube, so I just want to clarify something. What I'm referring to has nothing to do with anyone's preferences. So I want to state that clearly.
No,
So
I get you.
anybody who thinks that can get that out of their head right now. I'm talking about like being like, so me having like the background that I have. I'm a little different when it comes to things like sexuality and talking about those types of things openly. I'm more conservative, like in general, over that stuff. I don't care about anybody's preferences or anything like that. The question is just overall for like people like myself. That's probably where that came from. Like some parents out there reading this book, which they shouldn't probably be reading it to someone under a certain age, right? If it's not made for them, that's why they have TV ratings, right? TVMA, TV NC-17, or like PG and all that stuff. There's obviously ratings for a book, so they can choose not to read it to their kid of that age as well. It's just that some of them probably have more conservative leanings towards talking about sex openly. That's probably what it is. And then honestly, it's not as big of an issue, I think, as we're probably making it.
Yep. Very good. Go ahead.
As a final non-serious point, I would love to hear the discourse in the 90s during the Callista trilogy when Luke Skywalker fell in love with a computer. I would love to know what the talk would have been like if the internet was around.
Yeah, the
Luke
internet
Skywalker.
made the world very small.
Oh, this is funny. I just looked over at the YouTube chat because my melon chat.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's just paused.
It's frozen. So I follow quite far behind. So let me get caught up there, and then we do have a Patreon deal here. Kids are confused enough on their own without help from the books. I see that, Nikki, and I get the point where if you don't want your kids exposed to that kind of content, it's important you be involved in their lives. Not all parents are. Yeah. And some kids are getting more confused over the things they're being exposed to. And I'm not going to go too far down that rabbit hole because the social political things, we're here to talk about Star Wars more than that. And so within the context of Star Wars, I will, I'll just touch base on it and acknowledge. Let's see. Robert Sinclair, St. Clair, a giant space slug has a human woman in chainmetal bikini on a leash. Well, there's that.
Wait, what is this final solution talk? What is this shit?
Into that. Yeah. Let's see. Astromech Jeremy. I'm just saying I'm not clear as to what the issue is about a guy hitting on another guy for a millisecond. It's right. I don't think exactly, Astromech Jeremy. There's not it's a millisecond. It doesn't carry through. All it is a Padawan questioning his devotion to the Jedi Order, the commitment thing, and what his sexuality is.
I tried to clarify it. It's for me. It's not that at all.
And it passes. It passes. And then some of you get me. Matt Risman, Plagueis is still Santa's favorite novel.
Yes.
It's my favorite novel, not about Plagueis. No.
True. Hey, Hego Damask to you.
Oh my goodness, it's so good. Let's see what else. I've fallen behind on the chat. I just want to get caught up here. Plagueis is a great book. It is a good book. Don't get me wrong. I harsh on it all the time. I'm all the time picking on Plagueis, the novel, because it's not about Plagueis. It's a bait and switch. It's a bait and switch novel.
A classic Disney bait and switch.
It is.
They got you with Plagueis. And they kept me with Palpatine. How dare they?
I know.
Cast
I'm
the
like,
young Palpatine. Nope, he's not even.
When did Plagueis come out? Was that
No,
It
it was
was
2012. So technically, I
2012?
think it was right.
Yeah, so it was right before the buy. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
I gotta
yeah.
agree about that because 2012 was the Mayan year where the world.
Oh.
So we entered into an alternate reality, and that's why we get
Right.
Star Wars.
Right, I forgot about that. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not them, it's us.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I see X-Wing. You're right. Look, and there's something I mentioned to Nikki yesterday. What happens in this book is nowhere near what I see every single evening during primetime TV. Nowhere near. I see it on everything. It's in every platform. It's in every genre. It's in across all media. Nothing here is to the level of that. So I that's why I'm thinking. That's why I said this is people making a mountain out of molehill.
Yeah.
This is not that. And to be enraged over this.
Where are these people enraged at though? Like I don't see this enragement that you're talking about.
Go catch Knights of Melvin.
I see some enragement out there.
Go catch Knights of Melvin, and not only that, there are others.
Enragement exists, please.
There's others that have touched base on it as well, but he kind of really went off the rails on it. But that's fine for folks that's that content. I'm not picking on him. I'm just saying that's what it is. But look, it's fine. It's fine. I do want to change the topic here just a little bit at the very end. I do have a Patreon only from Nerd Mafia. He posted, and it comes to the question Quentin asked earlier tonight, or in the live stream. Santa, would you fight Jason Ward to the death to win the Darksaber? To the death. No,
Wow.
because look, if I had the Darksaber, I would cut off my foot with it for sure. It would be a hazard to me. I couldn't ever use it, or it would be the death of me. So would I fight Jason for that? No. He could have it. He can have it, Jason.
See, I think you'd be standing over him like Luke over Vader, and then he'd go, "Wait, Santa, I have a source in Hasbro. I hear there's a Star Wars leak, a blurg," and you go, "Huh? It's over there!" And you turn, and then he gets you.
He distracts
And then-
you.
and
Yeah,
he gets you. That's how the fight would end.
that's a
He'd hit you with a Star Wars leak, making
that very well may happen.
I would imagine that to go a little differently. You show up in your sleigh and you have Rudolph with you, and then it nose turns red, and it turns out it's actually a lightsaber.
Oh, and Rudolph's got like the knight's lightsaber
it's
out
just
of the nose.
Yeah,
Yeah,
You can do it like
Right.
you can do it like Spaceball style, where you can just like hold like the little nose.
the
you know?
ring.
Yeah, the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Good,
the
it's
options
dumb.
Look, we'll tighten this show up as it goes forward, but this was the inaugural. Thank you all for being part of this show with me today.
Thanks for having
I
me.
love talking about
you.
Star Wars, and we love talking about the content of Star Wars, and I think we did a pretty good job of it on the whole, and had a lot of fun. There, Astromech Jeremy asked a question. We'll let this be the one as we close out. He says, "What's the panel's favorite Star Wars scene?" Of now that's just generic, so I'm not gonna make that movie, Disney Plus, whatever you can think of in your head. What is your favorite Star Wars scene?
The celebrating on the planet below after the second Death Star is like blown up. Like that whole situation. That's my favorite scene because it's kind of that represents, I think, overall the overcoming moment, right? Like that's the most special moment in the story, for at least for me. It's like they went through their trials and they succeeded, and then everyone's just gonna live happily ever after. You get Vader coming back in his Force Ghost in the original without it being Hayden.
Yeah.
That would be
Just
mine.
smile.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yes,
weird
yes.
smile.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Me
Go ahead,
next?
Johnny. Yeah, go ahead,
Okay.
Johnny.
There's so many. That is a hard question. One that comes to mind though, I get chills every time I see it. It's Luke talking to Leia while they're on they're in the Ewok village, and when Luke reveals that that Leia is his sister. I love that scene. Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher like both kill those performances, and I just like love how it's lit, and it's like it's just the coolest thing. So I think it's a great scene.
That's actually really funny because I like the content of that scene, but it's one of my least favorite scenes to watch because there's this moment where Mark Hamill goes back to the good side instead of light side, and I feel like he messed up the line, but he said good side, and then like I've always noticed that I'm like he doesn't say light side, he says the good side. I was like, what does that mean? In terms of favorite moment, like the most nostalgic would probably have to be the opening of Revenge of the Sith. Like that just hits me the most as like that was me growing up like. And going into the Clone Wars, the opening as the two ETA 2 Actis class Jedi Interceptors crawl over that Venator, man. Oh man, it hits me every time. But now, I mean, I don't know.
So many. There's so many.
Luke coming out on Crate in The Last Jedi, pretty good.
No, look, you changed my mind there right at the end because I was thinking something else. But the opening to A New Hope, the chase and that destroyer just keeps coming, and what that did to my heart and my wonder when I was 10 years old, sitting in the theater watching that, right? That just blew my mind. 1977, and it sticks with me today. Did you revert
to 10 when you saw Rogue One at the end? Because it's just continuing.
Oh, that's really good. No, I got annoyed because where are the Bothans? Many Bothans died. There's no Bothans. What happened? And what? Wait. I thought this thing was transmitted.
Yeah.
You received those. I thought it was transmitted to the Tantive 4, and yet it was carried in on a disc. And so my brain
in an alternate Rogue One that is.
Remember, this is post 2012. You know.
Right. Well,
the Bothans is for the second Death Star, though. I'm confused.
Well, okay, but
come on now. Let's Return to the Jedi. Mon Mothma says.
That's a Death Star too.
I'm just saying that's where my brain went. So at the end of it, I'm going, that's not how they got there. That's not Leia. Wait, I don't understand when he says, we received a transmission. You have them. Where are they? And I'm like, but that's not they took it.
We didn't see.
Yeah. So anyhow, but they did get it transmitted. So I had to work it out. It works out, but it takes some work to get it there. So we have a Mike Porter dad joke.
There
we go.
It's not cooperating. I'm going to try refresh. If I go away, it's been nice knowing you. Otherwise, I'll be right back.
God.
All right, guys, we're in charge of
We're taking over.
Quentin, you're a new father. You got any dad jokes?
No, not really.
Not yet.
They'll come.
That hasn't hit you?
I have a feeling they'll come to you one day.
Yeah, I'm not as strong with the Force as Mike Porter is. He's had more time. He's
That's true.
He's been slow cooking for about 28 days now. There you go. That was a dad joke for you. You missed it. I can tell you guys aren't strong with the dad joke force. I guess Santa's not coming back.
I guess
I don't know. I don't know what. Hopefully he.
I've lost the here. I gotta pull up the YouTube.
He took a wrong turn at Albuquerque. He couldn't make it back to the North Pole.
Right.
Albuquerque is that where it shifts?
Mm-hmm.
She got turned around. He had to head back down south.
Right.
Hey, what's up, Jeremy? I'm about to choke on ice. What's up, Jeremy?
Well, we should do another. Okay, so if we said our favorite scenes, what's our second favorite scene?
Second favorite scene.
Okay. Also in Rogue One, when the I don't know if you would call him a monk. Would you call Donnie Yen's character a monk?
I mean, he's a
you
priest technically. Yeah.
Okay.
Priest monk.
You call him a priest. Yeah.
Definitely a monk vibe.
He's just walking. Everything's like blowing up around him, and he's just
it's true. It's
just walking towards it. That was badass. He doesn't have the Force. He doesn't have a lightsaber. He's just like, let's do this shit, and he's blind. So, yeah.
He's a guardian of the will. Just
Levi, you got another?
Oh shoot.
Yeah, no. There you go. Second. Let's see. I think probably Hoth battle, opening of Empire Strikes Back. Once again, as a kid, like I would just play that back over and over and over again. That and I might have to switch it because Jabba's Palace I love too, and the sail barge, man, I love that. Something about there being a barge and a sarlacc below it, like, oh man, you fall into that pit. As a kid, it's something about that just like makes your imagination sing. If you fall off, you're going right into that big old sand monster.
You're gonna eat by a worm.
I'm trying to go for more obscure ones. I definitely wouldn't say these are like ranked by any means, but another one I'm thinking about is I love when Anakin's on Tatooine in Attack of the Clones. He's riding on a speeder bike. After I think this is after he takes out the Tuskens, and like the music is swelling up, and there's a sunset, and it's like these beautiful wide shots.
As he's on his way there.
Before, I'm sorry, you're right.
Anakin on his Harley.
Before, I love that part as well.
Now, you guys want to talk about teen angst? That's an angsty scene.
That is an angsty scene.
I love it. Rolling on that thing.
I love it though, but it's so
man,
cool. It's so
it's got some anger.
And the shots are so cool. I love it.
And unfortunately,
Star Wars is good, man.
Now looking back on Anakin's life, like after the younglings and the Tuskens, I just can't unsee him trying to kill a bunch of puppies for some reason.
Yeah, I mean it's a cool. Yeah,
it's like damn,
you do
that. I guess that's Santa can't make it back, guys. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Meant to leave or because the stream will still go.
No,
we have no power over that. So
yeah, let's check
go.
Discord. I'm gonna check Discord.
This could be Santa's 24-hour stream.
You guys will have to champion the stream going forth.
Okay,
Grandmasters, and I shall. Is it? Can you can bequeath someone? Can you unqueef them? Is that a dirty joke?
I think you're walking a dad joke line right now. I don't know. Yeah. I think you almost made a dad joke again.
Well, I unqueef myself from the stream. I so see you guys next time, maybe.
Okay.
Okay.
Later on.
All right. This is. I guess this is an all new nerd stream now.
What has this turned into?
What's going on?
All right. Well, I feel
Everyone's gone.
Hello, everybody. Great to see everybody.
ESB in Cloud City when they're trying to escape.